Why hello YouTube. I promised I was going to do an update video after some time, starting with supplements. Well, it's been about a month, so I think that time has come. So even though I have made every effort that I can to try and eat healthy, in the end of the day, it just wasn't enough, and I've come to realize from research and other stuff that even though eating healthy is definitely a good start, our body and brain chemistries are just too screwed up to really rely on just good healthy eating alone to make it in the real world. So after doing some research and consulting some of you on YouTube, I've come up with a regimen that, at least for me, is specifically designed to counteract some of the deficiencies we have as being people on the spectrum. So I got fish oil, this is omega-3, I got magnesium citrate, I have melatonin to help me go to sleep at night, I have lysine, which is an immune system booster, and then I have a B complex vitamin, and then I have the DMAE bitritrate, or however the heck you pronounce that. So it's been a month out. What have I noticed? Well, the very first thing that I've noticed is that I am getting up every morning and I am not feeling like I am punch drunk. I wake up, I'm getting a decent night's sleep, and I actually now have energy to get through the day and still have plenty of spoons left over if you've watched that video. But very importantly though, when it comes to getting a good night's sleep, one of the things that I've found that's been a pleasant surprise has been that my blood sugar levels have been somewhat stabilized. In the past I've complained on vlogs about how I feel that my blood sugars were yo-yoing up and down a lot, and what would happen is that I would go to sleep at night and my kidneys would go into overdrive. So I found myself making a trip here about every half hour or so for about the first 2 hours of sleep, and then eventually my kidneys would settle down and I would finally fall into sleep. I don't think that it's type 2 diabetes though, because my dad had that, and while definitely getting up at night and going to the bathroom quite a bit was one of the symptoms, I didn't have any of the other symptoms of type 2 diabetes, which included very intense thirst, very intense hunger. And in addition to that, people who have type 2 diabetes, they have a very unique smell, a very chemical, fruity smell to them that I picked up. And I saw all that in my dad. I never saw that in myself, so that's disappeared, so I'll definitely take that as a positive. One thing, though, that hasn't changed, but I have noticed it getting better, is that I still deal with acid reflux after I eat something, so I still have to keep this stuff on hand. Another thing that I had to deal with was something called costochondritis, and that is a chronic inflammation condition where the cartilage in your chest gets inflamed and hurt. And I've been dealing with that for the better part of a decade now. And I've noticed that over the years I'll have like a 2-week period where it'll flare up, then it'll subside, then it'll flare up again. And since I have started the supplement regimen, I've noticed that my costochondritis has kind of subsided to the point now where it doesn't feel like it's going to flare, and I hope it doesn't continue to flare, because it's really annoying to have something like that. But when costochondritis flares up, it can be really scary because it feels like you're having a heart attack. So now, as far as the DMAE goes, this stuff is really picky as far as dosing goes. So if you get the dosing just right on the DMAE, and it's going to depend on who you are and other factors, but I take just like a little tiny pinch of it, and that seems to have a good effect for me. But if you overdo it, you get just an absolute roaring headache. But if you get the dosing just right, mentally you feel like $1,000,000. And you feel like you want to take on the world, and you feel like you can win taking on the world. Mentally, I haven't felt this good in a really long time. And my baseline mentally is It's pretty good right now. Like I said, I haven't felt this good in a really, really long time. And just to kind of give you an idea of how good I feel mentally, it is completely dark outside. I'm home from work, and I have the energy to be creative in doing this vlog. And so just to give everybody kind of a little update on my health, general health update, I made a series of vlogs 2 years ago because I had a kidney stone attack. And that kidney stone attack that particular night was the worst night of my life, and it marked the start of probably a 2-month period where I had to endure the biggest health crisis that I had to deal with so far in my life. And first I had the kidney stone, and that, as part of the treatment regimen, I was given an antibiotic called Levaquin to deal with anything that might have happened to my kidneys because of that stone kind of going in there and ripping up the tube that was going from my kidney to my bladder. Well, I had a reaction to that drug, and doing some research I realized that I was floxed. And now the floxing, it got better after about a week. The effects wore off after time, but there were some lingering things that happened. So the first thing that happened was that I have damage to the vision in my right eye. I now have floaters that occupy my central vision, and it's really, really annoying because it's hard to read things and hard to see things. And also, just in general, the acuity of my vision in my right eye went down quite a bit. And now when I wake up in the morning, my vision's really, really blurry in that eye, and it takes a while for it to get back to normal. But beyond that, that's probably been about the longest lingering impact that I've had. So now Levaquin has an affinity for damaging cartilage in your body, and one of the things that happened to me was that I had a bulged disc in my back that I wasn't aware of at level L5-S1. If you're not too familiar with discs in your back, L5-S1 is basically the absolute lowest disc in your back. And on the last Friday, August 2015, that disc ruptured on me, and it caused me about 6 weeks of just absolute funness come dealing with the fact that it pinched a nerve going down to my left leg, and as a result I was dealing with really bad sciatica. I couldn't walk for anything, and it took a couple of rounds of steroids to finally get my back in a position where it could start to heal. And the doctors were like, well, we can do surgery. They can do something called a microdiscectomy, where they go in to your back and they take out the herniated part of your disc that's pushing on the nerve. Or if it's not too bad, they want your body to try and handle it on its own. And that's what the course of action that they did with me was. They let my back heal on its own. And 2 years out, I can say now that my back is kind of healed up to a point now where I still have sciatica in my leg on occasion, but it gets to a point where I still don't want to, it's not painful enough to the point where I want to take something for it, which is really, really good. It's just more of like a minor annoyance now for me. And so I'm very thankful for that. But one thing though that has not changed is the fact that I still get headaches and migraines quite a bit. And in my case, I have a go-to of ibuprofen and acetaminophen. I take 2 of each once I start feeling something coming on, and that will usually nip it in the bud before it gets to be too bad. But where I used to have migraines and headaches on an almost daily basis, I'm now only getting them like maybe every 3 days or so, which is a lot better than what it has been in the past. So that's all I really have to say right now for the time being. Needless to say, my attempts at supplementing myself have gone a lot better than I was expecting that they would, and if any of you out there have questions about my routines as far as supplements, don't be afraid to leave a comment. And as always, speaking of comments, please comment, please like, and please subscribe. Every view, every click, every comment helps me out and helps me spread the word. So, thanks for watching.